everybody, James with My Breeder Supply. Oxygen concentrators. So can you see that in the picture, Tammy? Can you see this little jewel? So we have been using oxygen concentrators for, probably the better part of 10 years. And what they do is they make oxygen directly out of the air. There's no oxygen bottles to replace or run out of. You just plug them in and they generate oxygen. And the way they do that is they have a thing called a molecular sieve, which basically allows oxygen molecules to go through some little holes, but not the nitrogen molecules. And so an air is like 70% nitrogen and like 15% oxygen. Well, what you end up with is about 90+% oxygen coming out of this this tube right here. Okay, so let's turn it on.
Welcome. Please clean the humidification cup regularly.
Okay, so it's got a number of different controls. It comes with a remote control too. Let's just turn it on. We'll just hit flow. Oh, I'm going to turn it on first.
The oxygen therapy is beginning.
Okay, now it's running. So it's running now 1 litre per minute at 90% oxygen. You can hear it's pretty darn quiet. And the oxygen is coming out of this right here. So let's just talk about how you know this thing is working. If you go buy an oxygen machine, and the problem with it is a lot of these oxygen machines, especially the less expensive ones, don't produce a very high concentration of oxygen, and they're honestly not very effective. So you want something that, the way you can show it's working is it will relight a lit ember. So I'm going to light this thing up. Just a good old toothpick, got to get out of the wind here a little bit. And what you'll see first, I'm going to demonstrate that if I blow this out, I can't easily get it back up lit. It does not want to light that way because there's not enough oxygen in my breath. Maybe it's because I've got bad breath, I don't know. Maybe it would light easier if I had bad breath. Anyway, let's light the thing back up again. Now we're going to show you what it does with the oxygen. There's a little bit of wind out here. So it'll blow this out. And there you go. See that? Immediately lights it right back up. Okay, so that shows you that thing's working. Well, there's a little bit of excitement for you. So that brings up a good point. That's why I didn't edit that part out. Oxygen is very flammable. So if you're using an oxygen machine, nobody needs to be smoking around it because you'll see exactly what happened. What happened is it actually physically caught this plastic on I couldn't get that plastic to burn with this, but you introduce straight oxygen coming out of this and it burns beautifully. Even a thumbnail burns. See my thumbnail right there, got that too a little bit. But I'm okay. Okay, so we have an oxygen machine that's running. So how do you use this? Well, what we typically do is normally you've got a single puppy that's in trouble. In that situation, we get a plastic cup. I just dropped it. Plastic cup, put a little hole in the end of it. Just use a pair of scissors. Yeah, they make these plastic cups better than they used to. Cool. I'll get through it eventually. I need to be eating my, my frosted mini wheats?
Yeah.
Okay, we're about to get into the stupid thing. All right, there we go. Now we've got stuff to hold. So 5/16 hole. And by the way, if you buy one of our incubators, which is really the added thing you need to go with this, we drill a hole in for you. Okay, so there we go. So now we have the tube is inside the cup.
The hole that you made.
Yep, and you simply just put the puppy's head or the whole puppy inside this cup, and it gets there because you can't put a cannula on a puppy like you would for a human being. That's not going to stay on a puppy. But all you got to do is this is 1 litre per second is plenty, and this just floods the whole thing with pure oxygen. Now, if you look at the top of this, Tammy, you can change. Come around this way so they can read the writing on it.
There's.
Oh, he's upside down.
Oh, I'm up. Sorry.
There you go. There you go. So I mean, you can change to the flow rate.
3 liters, 4 liters,
Up to
5
7
liters,
litres.
6 to 7 liters.
You can see a considerably lower concentration when you're at 7 litres. So typically we use the thing around 2 or 1. 1's plenty and you get 90% oxygen. Then you can, there's a timer, so you can decide how long you're going to, if you want to have the thing shut off automatically, or you can just leave it so that it's on forever like that. There's voice control, you can turn that off if you want to. It comes with a remote control, so all these functions can be done without you having to actually be right. So you could be in bed and the machine could be over in the corner of your bedroom and you can control the machine. It has a nice feature. It will make ion O2. So let's turn the voice on, you hear it.
Negative ion purification is off. Negative ion purification is on.
So what this does is this produces O-. It basically, it's pretty helpful in reducing bacteria and viruses that don't thrive well. And is also good in that it lets particles collect up and be mopped up so they don't go in a puppy's lungs. So it's not something that's critical when you buy an oxygen concentrator, but if it's got a negative ion generator, that's a nice thing to have. It's kind of an added benefit. Okay, so it runs on 120 volts, so you're not going to be using this in your car without having an inverter. It doesn't take a lot of juice, so you certainly could do that. It's pretty portable. This thing weighs 14 pounds, maybe a bit less. So it's pretty portable. It's about the size of a bread maker, so it's not huge. So you definitely could take it in the car, but it's not battery powered. So when you lose juice, you lose oxygen. Come around the side here, Tammy. It comes with a nebulizer, so you could open this thing up and you could put in your nebulizer if you're using albuterol or something like that. And it'll then bubble it through that. So that's very easy to do. And you can see the level that you've got of the fluid that's in there, so you'll know when to replace it. That's nice. Come around the other side, or I'll just turn this thing around. There is a filter that you can replace. It comes with an extra filter, it's a stone filter, with another little, you can't get it out of there, little foam thing inside. So that's easy to replace. This can be washed. You don't need to do that very often. But it has a filter to keep everything clean. There's a maintenance port. If you ever need to clean the thing out, there's a maintenance port, which you probably won't ever be using. That's really about it. I mean, so who should be using this? Well, I think anybody who's serious about raising puppies should have an oxygen concentrator on hand. Daily I get phone calls to people who've got puppies that are in trouble. And there can be a number of reasons they're in trouble. One is you took the puppies early. And by the way, that's why you should have a progesterone machine, because you can find out when's the right time to take puppies. I just talked to somebody today, 9 puppies, lost all 9 of them, starting at day 24 hours after birth, and 3 days later the whole lot were wiped out. And they were all taken early. And if they had an oxygen concentrator, they might have been able to say that they went to their vet, and guess what? The vet had neither an oxygen concentrator or an incubator. You should have these things. Don't rely on your vet. It's going to be a huge bill if you've got to go to the vet to have this done. And they won't be able to look after the puppies all night long. Whereas if they're in your house with an oxygen concentrator and incubator, you can save a lot of those puppies that would not make it. If you have a puppy that's short stroke breathing and squeaking noises and not a happy camper, it needs oxygen. So very easy to use, you can't hardly go wrong. We will have these available, I think in December is when we'll have them available. The target price on this, I think, is going to be $349. But we'll know more about that in the next month or so as we start to ramp up on this. Been testing this unit, very, very happy with it. Tested a number of units, and this is the one that we came up with, really like it. Solid unit. I pulled the whole thing apart. It's got really nice insides to it. It's well manufactured. It's got a really nice compressor. It has fans on the compressor so they don't get hot. This thing doesn't get warm. It'll run for hours and hours and hours at any trouble at all. So really love the unit. Yeah, My Breeder Supply is the place to get it. Puppy saver. If you don't have this and you're gonna have many litters, you should have one of these, because without it, you'll lose puppies. Thanks for watching. Bye.